Lockdown Laddie is back. That's right. Marshawn Lattimore has been in the news for positive reasons. If you've been following the New Orleans Saints, you already know that Marshawn Lattimore has been the toast of the town. It just seems like every single day you have reporters talking about how good he looks. You had head coach Dennis Allen talking about how he's embracing this year's training camp, probably one of his best training camps ever. Look, everybody knows if you've been watching or listening to the State of the Saints podcast, you already know how I feel about Marshawn Lattimore. In my opinion, I feel like Marshawn Lattimore is the greatest cornerback that the New Orleans Saints have ever had.
The State of the Saints podcast.
I'm serious. Like, I don't think it's a debate. Argue with your mama. I'm serious. Like, that's the way I feel about Marshawn Lattimore. I've been watching the New Orleans Saints for a long time. Now, I know we got some OGs on here. But look, I'm 37 years old. I just turned 37. Thank God for another birthday. But I've been watching the Saints probably since I was 4. Sitting on my grandmother's floor, watching the games, listening to the games when they were blacked out because the team was terrible. So I watched my fair share of Saints games. And I got to tell you, Marshawn Lattimore is the best cornerback that I ever seen in a Saints uniform. I have never seen a cornerback consistently for the New Orleans Saints lock down half of a field, go against some of the top wide receivers in the game.
Oh, my God.
And still go out there and dominate. I mean, no disrespect to any of the great New Orleans Saints cornerbacks out there. I know some of you are probably sitting there right now thinking about all those great cornerbacks back in the day, the Toy Cooks, the Johnny Poes, the Jabari Greers and Tracy Porters, and everybody's favorite, the first true corner that the Saints ever had, Dave Waymer. But Marshawn Lattimore spoke to the media about how he's embracing training camp and just his overall goals for himself.
I try to be better every year, and I feel like this is one of my best camps just as far as everything I've been doing. So, I mean, I can always be better, though, in my eyes. So, it is what it is. I got some work to do, of course, but it's not going to be easy. I ain't really tripping. I want to put that on myself so I can work. I can work hard. So, I just want to be the best player in the league, help my team win.
Look, that's the type of stuff that you want to hear. That's what you want to hear, man. Laddie Daddy. Speaking that real, man, saying that he wants to be the best cornerback in the league.
Oh, my God.
He wants to be the best, and that's what you want. And I really feel like Marshawn Lattimore has a huge chip on his shoulder. I mean, he missed 10 games last year with a lacerated kidney. Even the game that he played in, it was against the Seattle Seahawks. It was a deep pass that was thrown. Geno Smith throwing a dime. I'm sorry, folks. I got to do it. A dime.
Oh, my God.
On the field of Tyler Lockett, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the game. I'm just calling a spade a spade. And he catches the pass, and Marshawn Lattimore was on his side, and Tyler Lockett kind of just rolled over it, man. And you can tell, like, immediately, Laddie Daddy was in some pain, man. And the Saints really, truly missed him, man. Those 10 games that he was out, it was kind of like plug and play. A lot of positive things happened in the process. I mean, you had Alontae Taylor being able to get some experience. Paulson Adebo was asked to step up. And they have a lot of film now that they can actually build on. And we know that the whole competition between these two young corners, that type of tape that you have out there, you can learn and be able to make the adjustments quickly. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise. But we know when Marshawn Lattimore came back, when he came back against the Philadelphia Eagles, he caught the pick six to pretty much seal the game. And, we count on Marshawn Lattimore. When the Saints have Marshawn Lattimore out there on the field, they're able to do so many things defensively because he can take away more times than not the best wide receiver on the team. So good to know that Marshawn Lattimore is out there doing some great things, living up to that lockdown corner moniker that he has developed for himself, being in the league for 7 seasons. And I'm looking forward to seeing what type of season Marshawn Lattimore can have. Now, throughout the seasons, we know that Marshawn Lattimore has had some injuries and he's missed some games. Hopefully, he can get some consistency there where, he can play consistently and show the world how special he is. Like, it really bothers me when I see Marshawn Lattimore every single year being in the bottom of the NFL top 100. I really feel like he's a top 5. Sometimes, like when he's extremely motivated and he's going up against Mike Evans, he's a top 3. But I want to see what Marshawn Lattimore can bring to the table. I think that this could be possibly an all-pro year. Speaking of a guy that has made a name for himself, and somebody that a team has looked at as one of the best players on the team, I'm talking Jaylon Smith. Now, Jaylon Smith, we all know, was signed by the New Orleans Saints on last week. And he comes in. He started his career with the Dallas Cowboys. He was a second-round pick. Should have been a top 10 pick in the 2016 draft. Unfortunately, he had that freak injury when he was in college in a bowl game. I know he feels bad right now because he actually had to play in that bowl game. That was before all the rules kind of changed up a little bit, where you don't have to play in a bowl game, where you can actually save yourself for, focusing on a combine, focusing on the draft. But he didn't have that luxury at the time. And unfortunately, he hurt himself pretty bad. Got knocked out of the top 10, but still managed to be a second-round pick back in 2016. He played for the Cowboys from 2016 to 2021, played for the Green Bay Packers, the Giants, and now he's coming to the New Orleans Saints. The media asked Jaylon Smith, what can he bring to the New Orleans Saints linebacker room?
Outside of experience and production, just, being in that leadership role. I was a captain 2 years in the National Football League, and just knowing what it takes, understanding preparation, and then just a guy who's had experience going into year 8. I've been through a lot. But like I said, this is a team game, and I'm just happy to be a part of a group and a bond. And each day, we get a chance to earn each other's respect. So I'm just thankful to be here.
Jaylon, as far as the calls and everything, where are you at, like, mentally, and how long do you think that'll take as far as you get a feel where you could play fast and you're not, where it is second nature? What is that process with you right now?
It's just time and experience. I've played in multiple systems before. I've played in this type of system before. So a lot of things are similar. It's just more of, the terminology and the verbiage and things like that. So it won't take long.
When you look at the resume that Jaylon Smith has, you have to be really excited about him being on the team. If anything, like just listening to him talk, his leadership. He's a guy that when he talks, people listen. I mean, he's very sure of himself. He's very confident. And I think that being with the New Orleans Saints, I think that it might resurrect his career. I mean, you think about like the career that he's had. He had that monster season back in 2019 where he was just virtually unstoppable. I mean, he was a guy for the Dallas Cowboys that they counted on week in, week out. And, all of a sudden, he had some injuries and now he's been bouncing around the league, but I think he wants to find some stability. And we know that the linebacker position is a little bit down right now, even though we're getting some positive news about Demario Davis. We're getting positive news that he's slowly starting to come back from that, calf injury that he sustained. A lot of reports are saying that he'll be ready for week 1. You definitely need Double D out there to be able to man the field and be that captain of the team, the heart and soul that he is, one of the hearts and souls of that defense. And, having a guy like Jaylon Smith in your back pocket won't hurt because you still have some young players out there that have a lot of promise. Don't get me wrong, but they're still young and inexperienced. And having a guy like Jaylon Smith on your team that has been there and has done that and has played at a high level, I think that it's a plus. So hopefully he can, get it together to a point where he kind of flashes and shows the New Orleans Saints what he's capable of. Now, if Jaylon Smith can get it together, the New Orleans Saints can have that Demario Davis, Quan Alexander type thing that they had, where for a short period of time, I want to say over a 4 or 5 game span, you thought Demario Davis and Quan Alexander were the best linebacking duo in all of football. And I think that Jaylon Smith possesses that. And I think he's coming to the Saints. He has a chip on his shoulder. You got a lot of people looking at him as damaged goods. I don't look at him this way. I'm just saying what the streets are saying. The streets be talking, all right? The streets are talking.
I got it from the streets.
And that's what they say. When guys start dealing with injuries, all of a sudden, oh, no, he's damaged goods. Oh, he can't run no more. And then all of a sudden people just don't want him. They throw him away like they just can't play anymore. I believe in Jaylon Smith. I think that Jaylon Smith, if he makes this team, will be a very good addition for the New Orleans Saints. But finally, before I get up out of here, now normally I don't do this. I sound like R. Kelly.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
I mean, I'm just saying for the music part, Normally I don't do this, but I got to keep it real. All right. I know some people are telling me that, I don't need to worry about saying this. You don't need to defend yourself, this, that, and the third. But I told y'all, this is me. You're getting the real me. All right. Not the watered down version, not the one that's trying to appease everybody. This is what I feel. So I got to say this. The last video that I put out about Derek Carr and Jameis Winston, right? It was the video about having a division between Saints fans, between these two quarterbacks, Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. I put out a video. If you have not checked it out, please do. And I gave my opinion about what I thought about Jameis Winston, his loyalty to the team, his ability to go out there and fight and scratch and claw. And I just felt like some Saints fans weren't giving the guy the type of respect. I brought up the example of Derek Carr going home. Now, you got a bunch of people out there that's too much of some cowards, and I'm calling you out, to actually call the show or actually come at me directly, because I've said this before and I had a live show. They don't want to come on the show and have a conversation. What they want to do is they want to hide out in the chat. But I just so happened to take a look at it, and you had a bunch of people out there that's trying to discredit me by saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about when you said Derek Carr went home. He was forced to go home by the team, yada, yada, yada. First and foremost, let me say this. For all these people out here that may just think that I'm just some guy that's just talking on a microphone, I don't normally do this, but I'm about to flex real quick, all right? I've been working my behind off since 2018. 2018, a lot of videos, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears came into the State of the Saints podcast. So if you're brand new to the channel and you just think I'm just some random dude running his mouth, well, basically I am. But if you just think that's all I am, then you're sadly mistaken. For all the people out there that just think I'm just some random guy with a microphone and don't have any type of credentials and anything like that, let me flex on y'all boys real quick, all right? I normally don't do this. I try to stay humble, but y'all forced my hand in this situation, all right? Not only this year did I get my media credentials to go attend the Senior Bowl by the NFL, I also got them to go to the NFL Combine. And if you don't believe me, here's me asking a question to #1 overall pick, Bryce Young.
Have you reached out to anybody about the draft process? Any NFL players? What type of advice did they give you?
Yeah, 100%. I've talked to a good amount of guys. I've tried to prepare myself as much as I can for the next level and for this process. Specifically, I was talking to Mac earlier this week, and he gave me a lot of great advice about, kind of just how to carry yourself. Things that he's learned in his years there. A lot of things that I'm going to take and hold on to, and I'm super grateful for the guidance I've gotten from him, on top of many other NFL players.
And for all you Raider fans out there that are going crazy, here's me asking a question to your quarterback, Aiden O'Connell.
What kind of relationship do you have with Drew Brees? I mean, him being a Purdue alum and a legendary quarterback.
And Drew has been very supportive through the process. Obviously, he's a great alumni for us and supports the players, especially the quarterbacks. And he's reached out and lent his support and encouragement. He's a great guy to look up to. Obviously, had a great career and he's doing great things post-career as well. So we appreciate him a lot.
Now, I don't mean to flex, but I need to flex. So when I say that the dude went home, when I was at the Combine, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of interviews and stuff like that, but there's downtime. So I got opportunity to walk around, and there's several hotels around this convention center. And I'm walking, and I stopped at a Starbucks to get some coffee. And outside of the Starbucks were 3 coaches from the Raiders. And I walked over to him jokingly, and I said, man, what did y'all do with Derek Carr? I said, why y'all sent that man home? Because I got the same story as you, of course. They told me. I'm not going to give out who it was. I will say they were some African-American gentlemen. But they told me things ain't what it seemed. And a lot of things that were put out there in the news weren't accurate. And they told me what really happened about him being upset and wanting to go home. And maybe if they put that news out there, it would make him look less valuable on the market. I don't know. But it wasn't what it seemed. So when I come to you and I tell you these things, I'm telling you these things because of what I heard. I'm not a shock jock. I never want to be a shock jock. I never need to be a shock jock because I try to keep it as 100 as possible. So miss me with these reports from individuals that you're watching, but I have an opportunity to actually have conversations with behind the scenes. So thank you so much. I had to say that. Miss me with that kind of stuff. And once again, like always, argue with your freaking mama. But I would love to hear from you. What do you all think about the signing of Jaylon Smith, the linebacker? What do you think he can bring to the table? And also Marshawn Lattimore. What do you think about him stepping up, being that all-pro corner that we want him to be? Comment down below, like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Much love to the people out there that support the State of the Saints podcast through and through. Shouts out to the new people too. And hopefully this won't be your last podcast. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel, you like, you share. And I'm excited about this season, man. So keep it locked right here to the State of the Saints podcast for all of your Saints content and previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?